we'll see if my screen share is working. Anyway, good morning and welcome to the 13th Annual International Conference on Stigma. I'm Patty Houston, one of the main organizers for this event. We hope you were able to enjoy some of our pre-events Sunday and Monday. If you've been with us in the past, you may have been expecting Lisa to greet you this morning, but she's just getting back from out of town and will be joining us tomorrow. Please bear with us as this year is our first hybrid event with virtual events today, tomorrow, and Thursday, and an in-person day Friday. If you can't join us at Howard on Friday, that day will also be webcast. We are grateful to our generous sponsors for this event. Please visit their booths on Whova. I'm going to try to start up our little presentation now where I have some announcements. Okay, hopefully you all can see the screen. If not, I will read through it. Okay, so the conference schedule, we have today is a virtual day going up till 5:30. And then this evening, there may be some additional attendee-led meetup sessions if you want to check out the schedule on Whova. Then tomorrow, Wednesday, we have another virtual day. We go all the way up till 6 p.m. And then we have also a short documentary at 7 tomorrow night, which will be followed by a discussion. And then Thursday, we have poster presentations. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And then Friday, we have an in-person webcast, in-person day with the webcast. And that's starting at 8:30 at the Blackburn Center, Howard University. And then we even have a partner doing a talent show at 6 o'clock in the evening. We're running on the Whova software platform this year, which if you're on here, then you've already figured out how to access it. But just to let you know, you can access it through the web, and you can always get back to it through our webpage at www.whocanyouTell.org. And we can also access it through a phone app. Well, our sessions will be doing our best to run on time. We may occasionally run over on a session. However, our team will be trying to start the next session on time. So you can always have the option of exiting out of a session if it's running over, and you can still join the next session on time. We do on the Whova have a leadership board where you can get points depending on how active you are on our site. And we are offering a $50 gift card to the top 3 participants on that leaderboard at the end of the event. We just ask that you kind of have genuine participation only. In the past, sometimes people have just reposted many articles over and over to try to get points. It's more about connecting with people than getting points, but we do have that as just a little bonus. We also have some raffles. Today we have a $50 Visa gift card raffle, and we'll have another raffle tomorrow and 2 more raffles on Friday, including a $100 gift card at the end of the event Friday. Also, make sure you check out the different content throughout the Whova site. You know, we have written artwork, we have posters, exhibitors, sponsor booths. So there's a lot to see on there. So some of the booths may have special promotions or giveaways, so you definitely want to check it out. And we also have a community board, which some of you have already found, where there's a whole bunch of topics on there. So get in there and network with other people that are attending this event. It can be a lot of fun. Okay, Thursday this year, we have, it's a little bit less structured. We have many of our accepted poster presenters will be doing presentations. and many of them are live. Some of them also have done their presentation pre-recorded. So if you go under agenda on the app or on the website, you'll see a subcategory of posters, and you can go in there and see all of our posters. And then just, you have to look at each one to see when they might be presenting, but we've scheduled most of them on Thursday. And that's also will be a day that you all as the audience can create your own sessions Thursday through the Whova's video conferencing meetup platform. For evaluations, we do ask that you evaluate every session that you attend. Again, if you go in the agenda online, you open up that session, you'll see a button in there that says rate session. And you just click that. It's a very short evaluation. Just try to keep up and fill that for every session you attend. And then at the end, by email, you'll be getting an evaluation that you can fill out a link through your email. For CEUs, if you need social work CEUs and you haven't registered, that's still available on our site. The CEUs are actually free, but you do have to be under a paid registration as opposed to like a scholarship in order to register for those CEUs. And then the general conference registration will remain open all this week. So if you have colleagues that want to still register, they can still do that. Today's content, as I said, goes up till 5:30, but check out other things may be happening this evening on the Whova page. Okay. I'm gonna stop my screen share there. Okay. All right. Well, that's enough announcements. Let's go ahead and get started. We now will have a video from Dr. Anthony Wuta, who's the Provost and Chief Academic Officer here at Howard University. He's going to give a welcome, followed by Athena Cross, who is the Vice President and Chief Program Officer of AIDS United. She's also going to give us a welcome to the event. And then we have a vocal selection to play for you, Lift Every Voice and Sing by Alasia Lawson. Alasia is a senior student at the Duke Ellington School for the Arts here in Washington, D.C. And we also have a couple brief messages from other participants to play for you. And then lastly, in this opening session, we have Dr. Rana, who will also welcome us and will give a short lecture before we move into our next plenary session. All right, let's do this.
Anthony Wuta, and I currently serve as the Provost and Chief Academic Officer here at Howard University. It is certainly my honor and my pleasure to welcome each of you to the International Conference on Stigma. Whether you're joining us here physically or you're joining virtually, we hope that you will enjoy and take advantage of all of the presentations that are being provided and the conversations that are being shared over the next few days. I want to first thank Dr. Sohail Rana and his team for their commitment in continuing to put together a well-organized event and continue to speak on behalf of individuals who are suffering from HIV and other illnesses where stigma significantly impacts their quality of life. As an HIV researcher myself, I'm acutely aware of the impact that stigma has played in HIV and in other diseases, and particularly how it has impacted communities of color. So again, I want to thank you for joining us. I hope that you will enjoy the wide variety of speakers and panels that have been assembled, and certainly want to thank you for your continued support and encouragement. God bless.
Hi, my name is Alasia Lawson, and I will be singing Lift Every Voice and Sing. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has brought us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has taught us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won. Thank you.
I'm grateful because number one, God, I didn't know what HIV was all about when I was in, when I was 18, I didn't know nothing. So I started praying to God and he put me in the right direction. That means that I went to all the different organizations that deal with people HIV positive like myself. So I started educating and everything about related to HIV. I was crazy about it because I want to know what it is. So I say years going by, now I know how it is, but the support group helped me to talk about it. And that's why we're there. HIV support group is there for us to talk about anything you want and to support each other to make sure everybody doing the right thing.
My heart is not at peace. The spirit of stigma is chasing me and discrimination as well. Whenever I sleep, I hear sounds of stigma and discrimination. And whenever I move around my community, these are the same sounds that I hear. My community, where are you? I'm dying because of you. Why? But why? I have become a hit song to the young and the old. And that song is that I'm sick. No. 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 I'm not sick. But I live with the virus. My community, I'm a human like anyone else. I just need love, care, and support from you. Together, we can end HIV.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. This is the International Conference on Stigma. We appreciate your time and efforts to register and connect with people around the world. You are not alone. There is hope. Thanks to the organizers and Howard University for creating the platform to raise awareness on stigma. We look forward to hearing your stories. Let's break the chains of stigma together. Have a wonderful time.
Okay, Athena, are you ready to come on now?
I am ready to come on. I'm getting a message about my video though.
Yeah, I had the same problem.
Okay, so I will just go ahead and talk. I'm sorry that I cannot show my face for this.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be straightened out soon. All right.
Hi, everyone. My name is Athena Cross. I am the Vice President and Chief Program Officer at AIDS United, and I am so happy and honored to be here at the 13th International Conference on Stigma. For 10 years, AIDS United has led the fight to end the HIV epidemic in the US through our work as an intermediary funder. Our funding supports grassroots and community-based organizations at the forefront of this fight. Our work supports organizations across the Deep South and in the Hispanic, Latinx, and transgender communities. And our harm reduction work supplies over 1/3 of the syringes dispensed at safe syringe sites across the nation. Stigma reduction is a core attribute of our work, and we prioritize organizations that work to create safe, non-judgmental spaces and who treat people with dignity and humanity. We are happy to be a sponsor of this event, and we join you on our collaborative effort to end stigma in all its forms for people living with or vulnerable to HIV. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Athena. At this time, we're going to have Dr. Rana come on, and he's going to do his the slides part of his presentation, and then we need to fix this Zoom session. So our team is going to tell us, I guess, we might have to switch into another Zoom session for the next session, at which point Dr. Rana can come on and you'll hopefully be able to see his face once we switch out the session. So sorry about that. Dr. Rana, are you ready with your slides?
I am ready, but it's not letting me share the slides yet. So soon as I'm ready to share the slides, I cannot start video either.
Well, yeah, it won't start video, but it should share screen still, the green
Okay.
button.
Okay, all right. It's
And Patty,
working.
I was just going to say, hey, this is Terrell. I was just going to say, you can make her a co-host. You should have the right to make her a co-host as the host, and then she will be able to share her screen. And if she likes, she could also share her own screen as well. So her camera and her screen, if you make her a co-host.
Well, yeah, but Dr. Rana has his own slides, so that won't help me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. This is a chilly fall day in Washington, D.C. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. For all of you who are joining from other places around the country, around the world, we really appreciate you. I hope you will find the sessions today and over the next 4 days really useful. Now, we have come a long way. So happy to be holding 13th International Conference of Stigma. International Conference of Stigma has become a teen. Thank you, Patty, for your leadership and organizing most of the stuff. Thank you, Cynthia, Sahel, Jaden, Nana, Lisa, Brian, Ulysses, and dozens of other lovely people who make it possible every year to hold this conference. Thank you to our funders. Please visit their booths. And thank you to our partners who are holding so many of these sessions today and in next 3 days. Now, to be honest, I started taking care of people with sickle cell disease and HIV long time ago. And even when I was talking about stigma interfering with the care of people with HIV, I did not understand the word stigma. And this was 1997. So imagine I had been taking care of people with sickle cell and HIV for probably 10 to 15 years. And I was sitting on a Sunday morning, the front page of Washington Post, and Bill Clinton had decided to close Gillis W. Long Hansen's Disease Center in Louisiana. Now, I'm sure very few of you know this center, that this center was established for caring for the people with leprosy. When the center closed, there were 135 residents there, and Washington Post had interviewed some of them. Now, at any given time, previously, there were as many as 400, 500 people living there. They were practically incarcerated because of their diagnosis. They were not allowed to meet their friends, families. They were not allowed to ride buses. Sometimes you could not even fly over certain states because of your leprosies. So families had been separated, children taken away from their parents. And now in 1997, there were about 135 people still there, many of them in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. And one of them stuck out to me, one interview. This was B. And she told her story so poignantly. She was taken to the door of center by a chauffeur. Her father did not even look at her when she was taken there. She was 72 when the center closed. From the time she was 9 to 72, she had lost total contact with her family. Her family was one of the well-established families and most influential families in New Orleans. They didn't want to have anything to be attached to her. They never visited her, and her only family were the people who were living there. Now, my own daughter, Yasmin, at that time was 9 years of age, and I sat there and I cried. So I, until then, did not understand what stigma was, what the stigma of a disease can do to people, and how community can treat them because of their diagnosis. This was my first introduction to stigma of illness in a way that I never understood before. Now, mind you, Washington Post did not use the word stigma. Stigma was a word used very infrequently in the literature, in the newspapers, and I noticed an uptick after we had our first conference. So I want to tell you a personal story, and this is really what shook me up and made me feel that we must do something. I'll call her Chelsea. Chelsea was 19 when our first conference for stigma was held in 2010. And 2 weeks prior to that, Chelsea had passed away. I had started taking care of Chelsea when she was a toddler. She used to call me dad. She was very funny, but behind her laughter was a very broken heart. She told me several times that she hated herself and that nobody would ever love her. Her family made her feel dirty by wiping her chair anytime she sat down somewhere. Her dishes were washed separately. One day, she got the courage to tell her best friend. Now, mind you, she had not told any of her friends, and other than her father, mother who had HIV, and grandmother, nobody else knew about her HIV. Her best friend was her cousin, and she said, I really have to share this secret with you. I can't tell anybody, but it's killing me. She was about 17 or 18 at that time. And she let her heart out that, I have HIV and this is what it's doing to me. I have to receive treatment. I have to go to doctors every so often. And her cousin and best friend was very supportive. And she listened and she said, you're gonna be okay, honey. You just got to take your medication. Now, Chelsea felt so good for a minute when her friend heard her, but then Chelsea got up to leave. And they usually would hug, and Chelsea moved forward to hug her, and her cousin and best friend moved away. And that broke Chelsea forever. Chelsea stopped taking her medication completely. Chelsea, this was her mantra: nobody would ever love me. Who would love me with my HIV? Now, she could have lived a normal life if she continued to take medication, but she stopped taking her medication. She did not die from HIV. Chelsea died from the cruelest of opportunistic infection, the stigma of HIV. Now, what is stigma? And I just want to say one thing, that stigma is probably the worst form of devaluation you can suffer from in the society. You lose many, many. In fact, one day I sat down and counted, there are 24 human rights listed by UN. You lose pretty much every single right to be here on the earth because of HIV. You even often get criminalized because of HIV. The stigma has three major components. It's the game of fear, blame, and shame. Let's see, I am unable to. Okay, this works. Thank you. Now, when you look at what stigma is, there are so many domains in life that it affects and it destroys them. Feeling of humiliated, feeling of guilt, feeling of shame, being embarrassed, and being scarred. It leads to many, many mental health problems, and it leads to person isolating themselves from the rest of the society. One of the big components of stigma is shame, and you will hear plenty about it, that people internalize the poor treatment they receive from others as shame. That makes them hide the diagnosis, that makes them move away, and that makes them not take their medication and access care or stick with their medications. And that makes them really stay away from making friends, being afraid of making friends, because sometimes friendship may be criminalized. There are many stigmas along with HIV, along with sickle cell, along with mental health diseases, poverty, gender issue, gender preference, addictions, race, history of incarceration, and layers of marginalization to those who are already suffering. I can say stigma is one of the biggest public health problems that is ignored by leaders and institutions, those who are supposed to be finding better ways to care for people with HIV, sickle cell disease, and other stigmatized illnesses, put very little investment into educating people about stigma and what attitude of the society and the structure of the society can do to people living with stigmatized illnesses. Now we have an outstanding program. Starting Sunday, we have more than 50 sessions. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, all the organizers. Thank you, all the committees. You have done a wonderful, wonderful job. I really urge you to attend as many sessions as you can. God bless you. Together, working together, stigma is something we can all wipe out. Thank you so much for being here. God bless.
Okay, so thank you for that, Dr. Rana. St. Elmo, are you going to advise us what we need to do now in terms of the Zoom session?
Yeah, we're just going to go over to the panel session. So if everybody just wants to go to Whova and then go into the panel session, then you can go ahead and we'll get started for the panel.
But do our panelists need to do anything special?
Nope, just come on in and then we'll
Just
get
go,
it.
they also just exit out of here and enter
Yep.
into the main session in Whova?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, did everybody get that? All right, well, we'll try it and we'll track people down if we need to in a minute. All right, thank you, everyone. We'll see you in just a minute.